Hi and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, Knit and Crochet Crafting, FreeForm ways of crafting led to the world of design. All the places you can find me are listed right down below this video. This is my crafting channel where I talk about my knitting, my crochet, my designs, yarn hauls, reviews, and more. In this podcast episode, we have a lot of finished objects that I'm super proud of. So the date is May 5th. I think it's been quite a while since I've done one of these podcasts, so I have quite a lot to show for it. So we're just going to jump right in. Before we get into my finished objects, I did want to say I have a new pattern release. It's out for pre-order right now. It is my cable stitch sock collection. So if you've been watching the podcast for a while and you've seen these socks, I've talked about them multiple times here on the podcast. The premise of this collection is if you are wanting to learn some new cable repeats, if you want to expand your cabling skills, if you haven't done a lot of cables before, this collection contains 3 sock patterns that each highlight a different cable repeat of varying degrees of difficulty. They're really all easy once you understand what you're doing, like the basic cable twists. Cabling is really easy. It looks hard, but it is really easy. I actually have a whole video here on my channel about this sock collection. You can find that on the rest of my channel. But the first pattern is coming out. By the time you're seeing this, it'll be out. The Tracks socks. They release May 6th. And I'm really excited for you to see the pattern. So a huge thank you to everyone who's already pre-ordered. You can still pre-order the collection. The last 2 patterns of the collection come out May 13th and May 20th. And each time a new pattern is added to the collection, the price does go up. So the earlier you pre-order, the earlier the more savings you get on the whole collection. I love doing these little pre-orders. It helps me offer the pattern at a little bit of a discount, but also still, you know, fair to me as the designer and fair to you, the purchaser. So I'll have a link to my Ravelry Shop down below where you can check that out. I'm super excited for this collection. It's been so much fun. So I just wanted to start off with that because I will forget, because I have a lot of finished objects. So we're going to now talk about those. The first finished object I think was a whip last time I filmed. I kind of vaguely mentioned it and showed the little bit I had started of it. It is a sweater, and I actually filmed a whole like crochet with me vlog style video with this sweater, so I won't go into too much detail about it. But here is the sweater. And that vlog style video will be coming out this Tuesday, so keep a lookout for that. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss that out. I love this sweater. I'm so happy with it. It is a oversized drop shoulder type sweater. It's done in pieces. This is a construction I've really wanted to do for a long time. I know it would fit me, my body type really well. It's just not a construction that I felt comfortable doing. I prefer to do yoked sweaters, sweaters that are all in one piece, just because that's easier. And in my head it was easier, but this sweater was fun to do. I just had to kind of push myself to do this type of construction, and I love it, and it turned out way better than I could have expected. It is done all in scraps, and like I said, in pieces. The sleeve seams actually at the top, so I could get this contrast of stripes, and it is done in this super fun texture stitch. I love it. I love it so much. It's kind of got this V shape, but yeah, I'm just so happy with it. Pretty proud of myself for doing it, and I can't wait for you to see the video I filmed to go with it. Yeah, that's a big finished object. Super happy with it, and of course it's now May, and the weather's consistently warm, so this will not be getting anywhere for quite a while, which is okay, because I do prefer the warmer months. So that is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2 is a pair of socks, which I also believe was a whip last time. It is this pair of vanilla toe-up socks. This is actually going to be a pattern that I write up. This is my toe-up sock recipe with my shortcut heel toe-up sock recipe, something like that, because I have my shortcut heel sock recipe, which is a cuff down pattern, but this is done toe up. I've perfected how I like to do my socks toe up, so now it's really, I can just decide what I want to do in the moment. Like, I've always done cuff down, or I do cuff down a lot more. I used to, when I first started doing socks, do toe up, but since coming up with my shortcut heel, I just prefer to do it cuff down, but now I can do my shortcut heel toe up too, so I can do it either way. And this yarn is Knit Stroll hand painted or tonal? I think hand painted because it's got like the, I don't know, but it's Knit Stroll Tafita hand painted colorway. I'm pretty certain that's it. There's my shortcut heel, and this is just a standard toe, but how I cast on is different. I actually have a tutorial here on my channel about how I like to do. It's the easiest toe up sock cast on ever because I always manage to mess up any other sort of toe up sock cast on. So, and then for the cast off, I did end up doing just like a regular stretchy bind off where you essentially knit all the stitches twice. But I do prefer a sewn bind off. When I was doing toe up socks for a while, that was like my preferred bind off, but I forgot how to do it, so I have to decide which bind off I like better. I'll probably end up putting both options in the pattern. Really, bind offs and cast ons and patterns, like those are things I whenever I make a pattern, always just switch out to whatever I feel like doing in the moment. Not if the pattern doesn't like need that cast on, just because I feel like it's really a matter of preference with every crafter. So love these socks. They're probably going to be for me for the past few pairs of socks I've made. I've ended up giving them away, but I think these are mine. My socks. I love them so much. I need to make some shorty socks though, which, in saying that, will lead us into our next finished object, which is a pair of shorty socks, because it's getting warm again, and shorty socks are just nice. They're a little bit cooler. I find I wear my handmade socks all year round, even in the hottest days of summer, but shorty socks are very nice to have. Also, they're also very quick to make. So this is actually a pattern. This is a pattern that I designed last year, and if you've been following the podcast for a really long time, then you might have actually seen it. I actually can't find my first sample of this pattern. I'm pretty sure I wore them at some point, but I don't know what happened to them. I'm really confused about it. I kept looking for them. I thought I had set them aside, but I cannot find them. But it is my Princess Cuff Shorties. So here is one, and as you can see, let's address that first. These are two different colored socks, because when you, out of 100 gram skein of yarn, if you have a small enough foot, like if you have like a man's foot, I don't think you could probably get like a full pair of men's socks, like, and have a lot left over. But with a 100 gram skein of yarn, for my pair of socks, I typically use up less than 70 grams of yarn in a regular 100 gram skein of yarn. I have a pretty large foot. I'm like a woman's US anywhere from a 10 to an 11 size foot, but I end up with less than 70 grams, is that right? Like 60 to 70 grams of yarn I use, so I have quite a bit left over from my full pairs of socks. So I can make a pair of shorty socks. Sometimes I'm just not in the mood to color manage. Like, I don't want to change colors for my cuff, change colors for my heel and my toe, or stripe. Sometimes I just don't want to do that. So I just did a whole sock in one color, and you can have mismatched socks. I thought that was a fun idea. You obviously don't have to do this. I know some people, like, it would drive them crazy to have mismatched socks. I don't mind. I'm kind of weird, actually. Like, when it comes to self-striping socks, I don't mind if they're completely opposite. I do mind if they're like just a little bit off from each other. And the same with these. Like, they're similar enough, like they're the same sock, but they're just different colors. That's okay by me. You obviously can do like a whole cohesive pair, but I just thought it was a fun idea because that way you don't have to color manage your stripes or anything like that. So these are a cuff down sock, the Princess Cuff Shorties. They've got this fun little garter texture on the top of the sock, my shortcut heel, and they've got this fun picot edge. So I'm actually debating on writing this sock both cuff down and toe up. Let me know if that interests you. I was just going to do it cuff down, but now that I've kind of figured out my toe up sock way, I could do it both ways. That would kind of be fun. So let me know what you think. I made this sock sample quite a while ago, and I just never made the second to it. So I did that recently. I just did this one sock. It's still got my marker on it. I haven't tacked down the picot cuff yet, but once I do that, I will have this sample done, and I will soon be looking for testers for the cuff down version of this pattern. If I decide to do a toe up version, I will have to call for testers again for that. But the cuff down pattern has been ready to go for so long. I just needed to like I said, knit the second sample. It's got the pictures of it and everything. It's all ready to go. I just need testers for it. So if you are on my tester email list, be sure to look out for that. A link to that is also down below if you are interested in signing up for that. I'm trying to roll this down so you can see, but it's kind of hard to see without it being tacked down properly. You can actually do this if you go, like when you're knitting it, you can seam it down at the same time as you're knitting and don't have to go back and tack it down. I just preferred to do that this time. I kind of changed it up. So these socks are made out of scraps of Knit Stroll Tonal in the Mocha, and I don't remember the colorway for this one. That's gonna bug me because I did at one point. I do know I knit my Slytherin Common Room socks out of the full skein of this, so that's fun. So that's another finished object. It's technically, this is just the finished object, but I'm counting it as a whole, so that's okay. That is it with the sock whips of the finished objects. Oh, but we are not done. Oh no. I have another crochet finished object, and it is this cowl. So this is going to be the last installment of my 5x5 stitch challenge. This is a little challenge I did for myself to kind of learn some more crochet stitches. And every month I've come out with a tutorial and a little free pattern to go with it, so that if you wanted to learn a new stitch pattern, you could. All the tutorials and free patterns can be found here on my channel and on my blog. And this is going to be the last installment of that. And it is another cowl, because learning a new stitch pattern and crochet on a cowl is just the easiest thing. It works up so fast. You have something useful to use to either have for yourself or gift. And it's just really easy, and I love it. I love making crochet cowls. So this is the stitch pattern. You can probably actually see it a little bit better here. It's this really fun texture. And this makes me very happy because learning crochet textures is, like, I kept finding a lot of lace stitches in crochet, which I love too, but just having a really simple texture like this, I just am so obsessed with it. So this will be coming out at the end of May, this pattern and tutorial, but I really love it. It's such a nice texture, and I think I did this, I think I just did it on a 5.5 millimeter, no, a 5, I think so. I have it written down somewhere, I hope. But it's a nice texture. It's out of worsted weight yarn. Super simple, just a 2-row repeat. So this is another finished object. That is 4 so far. With the sweater, the socks, the cowl. The last finished object was, why did I start this? I talked about in a couple of videos here on my channel. Sometimes I get kind of stuck with my crafts. Like, I want to cast on things, I don't know what I want to work on, I know what I should work on. I just get really jumbled. So I figured out, for me, I used to be a very monogamous knitter, like in my early days when I was first starting to knit one project at a time, and I could not do another project until that one was finished. But as I got more experience, I got more needles and hooks. I expanded my horizons to 4 projects at a time. I would have a sock, a sweater, a small project like a hat or a shawl, and then a crochet project, and that was all I would have. I've expanded once again because I found that I need more things than that, especially as I'm learning new crochet stitches and just getting more inspired to crochet a lot more and divide my time between these crafts. So I've learned that I need to have, or that I need to have, I really like to have, a knitted sock on the go, a knitted sweater, a small knitted project, a small crochet project, a crochet sweater, and is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, five projects. I've expanded, not as much as I thought. I think I'm missing something. I could be lying to you. But all that to say is I needed a small knitted project that I could just pick up and work on that was really mindless, and just something I didn't have to think about, and you could just really knit. I was missing that. I think I was just working on too many different designs, and I just needed something I could knit mindlessly on. So I had in my stash this, what's it called? Yarn Bee Soft and Sleek DK, which it's not a DK yarn, it's a fingering weight yarn. It's a Hobby Lobby yarn, and it's really more of a fingering, but it's not good for socks. It's just 100% acrylic yarn, and it's just very, like, I guess loosely plied, It's just I've made socks out of it and they've won through like in 2 wears. It's not good for socks, at least not for me. Maybe I'm just hard on my socks. But I had that in my stash, and so I decided to knit it up into a little baby vertebrae, newborn vertebrae. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. I can't remember the designer's name. So this is the finished object. I did it at a pretty tight gauge. I think I did it on a 5, which for some reason my gauge was very tight, it feels like, but it's a pretty gauge. And I do love the color of this yarn. So a super mindless project, and it will just go in a pile of things that one day I will gift to someone or donate or whatever. But it was a great mindless knit. I really enjoyed working on it, and I definitely needed that in my rotation of knitted projects. And speaking of rotation of knitted projects, I find that it helps me to, like, I am a project knitter and crocheter. Like, I love the process, obviously. I feel like every project, someone who identifies as like a project knitter or crocheter always disclaims, but I still love the process. Obviously, we all love the process. But the way I like separate in my head is like, if you had one skein of yarn and needles, a process knitter, like, and that's all they had, like they couldn't get any more, a process knitter would probably like continuously unravel their whatever they're making to do it again because they love the process so much. A project knitter might have to get creative because that's ultimately why I'm making something, to have that project, that finished project. So I really love working with thicker yarns and needles and getting that instant gratification, but sometimes I want a finished object that isn't going to be instant gratification. And I've noticed that in my making of sweaters and things, that if I'm not like 100% in love with it, even though I really would love the finished object, I'm gonna end up frogging it because I just don't have the patience for it. And that's like the story of so many of my garments that I've been trying to make. I actually have there's like a basket here that has some sweaters I'm frogging because I don't like them. I don't want to work on them. Actually 2, I think, are in here. So yeah, that's just what happens. But having this rotation of projects, small projects and socks, I'm not constantly but often casting things off and casting new things on, but still the long-term projects that I actually want are on the needles. Does that make sense? Like, I still have that instant gratification and, you know, get to make new things, but the things I actually want, like the sweaters and pullovers and blankets and all that, I don't have to frog those. I just can put them aside and work on something that's going to give me that instant gratification I want. So that was what I've kind of learned about myself as a knitter and crocheter. So this was a little instant gratification project which saved, you know, my future knits and garments and things. So that is another finished object, and I think that's the last finished object. That is quite a pile. There we go. That's a pile of finished things. Pretty good, pretty good. So moving on into whips, I just talked about, you know, having this even arsenal of finished objects or projects on the go. That being said, my work is kind of monogamously divided between 2 whips at the moment because Mother's Day is on this Sunday, I believe, and I'm trying to finish things that I started spur of the moment, so they have deadlines. That being said, I do have 4 projects cast on total. I have an opening for a project. I should do that. Cast on something new. But after those other projects are done. So these are 2 crochet projects. The first one, I just really wanted to use up this yarn. This yarn I bought a while ago. I was gonna make, I think, slippers with it, but I decided not to. It is Baby My Sweet Love. This is the, what colorway? Bella. And it is just a 92% acrylic, 8% polyamide yarn. It's a really nice chunky yarn. I'm also using Sweet Delight Chunky in the Angel colorway, which is the same blend, 80%, 20% acrylic polyamide. But I'm pairing these together. Just these are the only 2 bulky yarns I have in my stash, and I wanted to use them up because they were taking up room and they're too pretty to just take up room. So I'm just making a very small corner to corner blanket. I just used up one skein, used up another skein, and now I'm decreasing with the last 2 skeins. So it's just going to be a small little baby blanket, which is fine. Just wanted something, again, quick, and this yarn is just too pretty to light on my stash. I do love the colors of this. So I'm using my mystery hook that says it's a K, but it's not. It's the biggest hook I have. So, and it's making a nice gauge. So I did a chunk of this in like 2 days, but it's been sitting here waiting to be finished until my other projects are finished that have deadlines. So that is a work in progress. And then the other work in progress, I only just started. And I really want to work on it, but like I said, I have to finish those other 2 first. So I'm doing this project out of Yarn Bee ID in the Bluestone colorway. I love this yarn. This is 80% acrylic, 20% polyamide. It's just a nice worsted weight yarn. It doesn't have as many colors as I would like, because I really do love this yarn. It's really nice to work with. I am making the Overcast Cardi by Inkate of the Graceful Tangle, but I am modifying it. She recently designed this and released it. It's done in panels. I am doing the body and the side panels all in one stretch, and I modified it so that I had like a natural seam here of just like 3 stitches, so that when it came time to separate for the armholes, I wouldn't have to count. That's the story there. So just to have this nice big swath of crochet, it doesn't look like much now, but I do worry sometimes when I'm casting, especially something as big as a cardigan on, that it's not going to fit, but it should be fine. It's supposed to be oversized anyway. I think I actually picked a size. I'm doing the smallest size, I believe, in the pattern. But it's definitely like a recommended amount of positive ease. The thing is, as much as I love oversized garments, they get in the way. Like, it's too much fabric around, so I don't know how big this will be on me. It might just fit perfectly, I don't know. But it's really nice. It's got this nice eyelet stitch of double crochet and single crochet, so it'll be really nice. And I'm doing it on a 5.5mm hook, and I only just started it and then put it aside to, I think I should cast on and work on this other project that I'm making. So that was good planning on my part. That's the thing. When it comes to, I do like knitting for other people, but the thing is, I apparently don't plan ahead. I just decide spur of the moment, oh, I'll do this, and maybe I will, and maybe I won't finish it. So that leads us into our other 2 works in progress that I've been working on. First one is a pair of socks, which I don't know if I'm going to get done in time for Mother's Day, but here is the first one, the first one. This is a plain vanilla sock, my Delightful Knit sock pattern, my DK weight sock pattern, and I really love the stripes of this. This is Yarn Bee Sweet Delight Prince in the Jumping Juniper colorway, and I'm loving, I just love this blue. I think it just makes it so good. I didn't realize how much blue would be in here, and I love it. So that is, I worked on that today. Yeah, this is not going to get done in this pair of socks. So I should take this off the priority. It's really not. I've been working mostly and solely on this other project. I decided to make her my mom a knitted tee. So I made her one last year in the summer that she loved and she still wears. And so I thought it would be really nice for Mother's Day to make her another one. Now, had I thought of this less than a week before Mother's Day, this would have been a lot easier, but it's okay. I'm gonna get it done. I did quite a lot. So the yoke is completely finished. So this has no pattern. I kind of loosely followed, what's it called? The top-down book of hand-knitted sweaters. I can't remember the author's name, but it's just like a recipe. Like, she gives you the starting point, the stitch counts, and the gauge. I ignored the gauge. No, did I? Yeah, I ignored the gauge. I just picked a needle and that I knew worked last time. Picked the second starting number. When I make circular hooks, I never started the first increase round. I just skip ahead to what the finished number will be because I don't like to make necklines that are too tight. Plus this is a summer top, so it should be nice and loose, and yeah. So I'm actually making this out of Knit Picks. No, not Knit Picks. Why did I say that? This is done in Yarn Bee Prima lace, which is 100% Pima cotton from Hobby Lobby. And I'm pretty happy with it. So I did yarn overs for the increases and did them for the back loop, so it would be closed. The neck, the body I'm knitting on a US 10. The ribbing I did on a US 8. Here's the sleeve. And I'm just working on the body. My holdup is, I kind of want to do something fancy for the hem. I'm torn between, my original idea was some sort of chevron-y pattern. But I don't like the chevron patterns I found, the stitch patterns I found. Like, I have a certain specific image in my mind that I would need to like tweak to make it happen, but I don't have time for that. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna do like some sort of lace thing at the bottom before I do the ribbing, and it'll be fine. It'll look good. So I really do love this. It's really nice weight to it. It's the cotton, so it's breathable. It's really soft. I really do love this. So I will definitely get it done in time if I consistently work on it. I have been consistently working on it. So it's just nice round and round. I'm really happy that I kind of had a deadline for this because I've been wanting to make a circular yoke sweater for a long time, but I just didn't want to deal with like the yoke increases. I have this problem. I've mentioned it before. I'm gonna mention it again. I have a tendency to just build up tasks in my head and make myself think that, oh, I don't have the time to do that, I don't have the brain space to do that. Yes, I do. It's not that hard, especially since I did follow this out of a recipe. Like, I just needed to look at the book, find the cast on stitches like I did last time for the other sweater I made, and just knit it. That's it. That's all I had to do. So now I want to make, like, I have plans for so many circular yokes that I want to make, but I need to finish this. This will be finished. Hopefully I'll take a picture so that next time I podcast I can show you that picture, because this will be gifted on Sunday. So I need to finish this. And that brings us to the end of this podcast episode. Probably a bit rambly and rushed because I was really excited about all these projects and just wanted to share them before I forgot about them. So that is the end of this episode. If you enjoyed, be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the links in the description box. Check out the cable stitch sock collection if you are interested, and also be sure to comment below something you are working on. I would love to hear about it. I love hearing other people talk about their works in progress and babbling as much as me about the ones they're working on that they love. This is really fun to work on. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Happy crafting!